Hello, welcome back to the channel, folks. Glad you're here for a midweek edition. Hey, if you're new here, guys, welcome. Glad you stopped by. Do me up a quick favors though. Hit that subscribe button, then go over and ring that bell. Make sure it says all so you know when the next video pops up. Hit that like button, and before you head out, drop a comment down below. And if you're one of the regulars here, welcome back for another round. Also, hit that like button, and before you leave, drop a comment as well. And of course, share the video out on all the socials. Whew, new things happening here on the channel. Also, be sure to check out the playlist. It builds the viewing hours again. You can vacuum the house and just let it play in the background. That's fine. That's cool. Also, check out the featured channels where I get a lot of my inspiration from, folks I admire and follow on YouTube. And also, brand new thing. We're ready to join the Funhouse, aka the Community tab. Hey, hit that. We get a lot of interactions. That's where you, the viewers, have chosen the community to be dubbed the Funhouse. But without any ado, guys, let's get into what I want to talk about. The modern audience. We hear that term a lot being tossed around in today's entertainment. Sounds nice. It's like, oh, something that I love from a cartoon or a book or a comic book is getting a live action adaptation. This is awesome. More often than not, what we get is nothing like what we loved about what drew us to that particular IP. You get it with gender swapping, race swapping, present day politics, intersectional feminism, yada, yada, yada. And I thought that this modern adaptation was this. Why would you do this to something I love? Well, folks, the term modern audience is a scam. Not just of your time, which is really the most valuable thing, but eventually your money as well. So, modern audience tells these folks is basically a license for these creatives to do whatever the hell they want. And we're going to talk about that right here. First off, with everyone's favorite and most recent dumpster fire, that's right, the Rings of Power. Oh boy, this is just wonderful. So we're looking to Game Rant here, and the our article is why diversity is so important here. So part of the article says, by making some of the prominent and respectable characters of the world people of color, or by fleshing out the story arcs of a few female characters, meaning all, the Rings of Power writers made the world more accessible to a broader, modern audience. Oh boy, here we go. Everything goes on further to say, writing in any genre requires that the writer know their audience is going to be so that they can write to the standards of that group of people. This is exactly what the writers of the Rings of Power did by trying to create a telling of a classic tale for a modern world. They knew that their audience was diverse, and so the content needed to be as well. Their audience. As opposed to the audience, aka the paying customers, the folks who are going to invest time in this show. Their audience extends to their little Hollywood dome and people who think like them. And I'm sorry, but their audience, as opposed to the audience, when Tolkien published his first book, The Hobbit, in 1937, a book that's been translated in roughly 40 languages around the world. Their audience, as opposed to the global audience. Ego. Nothing but ego there. Secondly, we're going to come to the Wheel of Time. Now, I had not read the books, but I watched the first season of the show, and I thought it was okay. I kind of enjoyed it. A conversation with a good friend of mine, you know her here on YouTube as Dreaming Tabitha. She was not a fan of the series because of what they did to the source material of the books. So I did a little homework and came up with this from Screen Rant, where it's talking about the showrunner and interacting with the author. And the showrunner said they were super honest, saying, I don't think this works for this reason. And then I'm like, okay, I might have to pay some serious attention to this. And then there were times where I'm like, no, this is why we're doing it. It's a choice that I actually think really works, and it's going to work for us long term. And then we agree to disagree. And then furthermore, where did it say? Oh, it says, of course, article goes on to say, of course, adapting the Wheel of Time to the small screen is no easy feat, but the showrunner continues to ensure that the show adheres to the important details from the novel. According to what I've heard from folks who read the books, it adheres to nothing from the novel. While the author and the showrunner may have some creative differences, the show could last for years to come, and the Wheel of Time Season 2 could end up taking a different direction than Season 1. Recently, the showrunner revealed that he asked Game of Thrones creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss for advice, which showed that he understands the importance of this series to the fantasy world. There's one of the problems right there. But again, you're dealing directly with the author of the source material. And if you're going, no, I'm doing it this way because this is how I want the story to go, ego. Whew, boy. And we can go on for some more. Let's talk about Doctor Who. Now, I know a lot of us were excited when it was announced that Russell Davies was coming back as showrunners. Until this article here from Cultbox. This is a UK publication entitled Russell Davies, Climate Change and the Modern Audience. Fuck me sideways. I'm getting tired of hearing that term. So Davies said, I started Doctor Who when I was writing in 2004. I was worried that children and young audiences were always being told about death and destruction. I didn't want them to walk to school thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna die. It's actually a pretty good little message there. But oh, times they are a-changin'. Except the new Doctor scripts contain a little more frankness now. It's very interesting coming to Doctor Who now in 2022, where again, I want to provide optimism for that audience. And I mean, particularly like a 6-year-old watching it. I want to write optimism. I want to provide hope. But that speech seems hopelessly naive now. I think you have to be more detailed now. You have to be honest and get away with that speech now. You've got to talk about it. You've got to say we're going to flood. You've got to say the temperature's going up. You've got to, or you're letting us down hugely. Oh God, instead of optimism, it's going to be doom and gloom. Wow. Russell, the savior of Doctor Who? Doubtful. And do I really need to go on about what's been going on with the woke dumpster fire that is Lucasfilm? Whew. Again, intersectional feminism, LGBTQ where it doesn't need to be, modern day politics, comparing major characters to modern day politicians. Ooh, Tony. If you wanted to write a story about a Trumpian world, just write a story about a Trumpian world. You don't need to slap a Star Wars label on it to get it to get it to be to get it to get greenlit, unless your show is really crappy, and this is the only way you could get it done. And yet another one, for a last one here, The Witcher, which the X-Men writer and former writer of The Witcher said, and the title of this article, from Bounding into Comics, doing the Lord's work, X-Men 97 head writer Beau DeMaio recalls some writers on Netflix The Witcher actively mocking the source material. Says this mindset is a recipe for disaster and bad morale. You ain't kidding. And yes, I did say X-Men 97, the animated series coming to Disney Plus this fall. He has some thoughts on adding to an existing IP. Let me find it right here. And again, I'm going to leave a link to all these articles down below in the description. So again, check it for yourself. Don't believe me. Where are we at here with this one? Okay, now when DeMaio he left the Witcher, and we all know Henry Cavill did. Smart move, Henry. However, DeMaio then revealed that he had one specific requirement to anyone who wanted to join the team, this being X-Men 97. My general rule was you had to be a fan. No questions. Oh, there's more. This, he continued, was born out of his experiences on a show named The Witcher, where some of the writers were not or actively disliked the books and games, even actively mocking the source material. Guys, these creatives who are adapting these IPs that you love, they hate them. Just so you know. DeMaio goes on to say, it's a recipe for disaster and bad morale, he adamantly declared. Fandom is a litmus test to check egos. Bravo. There's hope, folks. There is hope. So he goes on, the article goes on, is he worried about the fan? Is he concerned about fans' opinions and the reactions? He says, I'm not worried, but I do care. Again, beautiful, as it should be. So, final thoughts on this, guys. The modern audience, if you hear that red flag should be going off in your head. These creatives hijack beloved IPs and use them as a Trojan horse to shoehorn in their story, their ideology. Because if they didn't, their stories wouldn't sell, because their stories would suck. And their egos won't allow them to just write a good insert IP story. They hate escapism. They don't want to entertain you. They want to educate you, because you little plebs, you little rubes, you need to be told. And it needs to be in your entertainment too. It needs to be pounded into your head constantly. And they're counting on your brand loyalty to not only consume this garbage, but defend it as well. Raise your standards. But hey, just my thoughts. Turning it back over to you. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And again, check the playlist, check the featured channels, check the community page, aka the Fun House, because we have fun here. And I will see you next week. We're starting off with season 4 of Titans next week. So, should be exciting. So, again, subscribe, ring that bell, hit hit the like button, share the video, drop a comment, and I'll see you next week, guys. You'll also see me Friday night, Legion Talk, for Friday night's Royal Rumble. And until then, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Always have fun. Hashtag keep talking. And always keep that smile on your face. Toodles!